What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And about this time of year, every year, I get a dozen or so people coming out of the woodwork saying, Boogie, I'm starting back up streaming on Twitch. I'm starting back up my YouTube channel. I'm going to create one for the first time. I need some basic advice. What do you have for me? So I always like to make this video right about this time for people's New Year's resolutions, so that way they can get that general advice. And I like to update it each year because there's new information, I think, each year, and this year's no exception. But I also think this is good advice to anybody out there who's trying to make it on social media. I'm not going to get into the specifics like which camera to buy or which microphone to buy or anything like that. That's entirely up to you, and you'll figure that out. I'm talking more about general life advice that you can apply to this kind of work ethic, but I think you can apply it to just about everything. But before we get started, I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsors of this video, which is the Verve app. For those of you who just got a brand new tablet or a brand new phone or looking for cool apps to download to watch content on your new device, Verve is the first place to start. The Verve is an app where you can get a ton of content under one roof, including Crunchyroll and Cartoon Hangover, Funimation, Geek and Sundry, Nerdist, Rooster Teeth, you name it. It's pretty much all under this one app. And they got a lot of really cool shows on there. I watch Harmon Quest on there. I know a lot of people are excited about Dragon Ball Super being dubbed over there, and they just added offline functionality so you can save a show for later and watch it even when you don't have internet access or you're on the go. That's a pretty cool feature. If you want to support me and check out Verve, click on the link in the description box below or go to vrv.co/BOOGIE and you can sign up for a 30-day trial, which is going to be an ad-free viewing experience, including all of their exclusive shows, including offline viewing, the whole 9 yards, and you'll be supporting me at the same time. So please check it out. So the first thing I always like to tell somebody who's starting out on social media, and I think this is true whether it's Twitch, or YouTube, or even Snapchat, or Instagram, wherever you go, you have to be consistent. Consistency, consistency, consistency. That means in the beginning, you've got to do this all the time, almost every day. If you're going to stream, you're going to stream 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. If you're doing YouTube, you're going to make a video every other day or maybe every day. If you're uploading to Instagram, you're going to be uploading videos several times a day. Same for Snapchat, same for Twitter. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you have to do it pretty much all day, every day. It has to kind of consume you. Now, one of the biggest problems here is that not everything you create at the beginning is going to be good. So sometimes you're going to stream when you're bored and people are not going to want to watch. Sometimes you're going to make a video and it's not very good, or take a picture that's not very interesting, or tweet something that's not good. You'll learn what to do by learning what not to do. You'll end up on live stream fails. You'll end up with people angry at you. It's part of the process. It still happens to me every day. It happens to large creators as well. Just know that's part of the process. Don't be discouraged. There is also a balancing act here, though. You want to make sure that your content isn't spammy, that you're not uploading things that people are going to hate or dislike or just plain boring. Even though you're going to spend all of your time creating stuff or thinking about stuff to create, know that sometimes 1 out of 3 things are going to get thrown away. 1 out of 2 things, maybe 4 out of 5 things are going to get thrown away because it turns out not to be very good. Be sure that you're only uploading things that people are going to enjoy. Which leads me to my most asked question. Boogie, what should I do, or how should I do it? How do I get noticed in this oversaturated market? The answer to that is actually fairly simple, and I tell everybody this. You need to do one of 2 things. You need to figure out what you can do better than everyone else is doing and do that. And if there's not something you can do better than everybody else, you've got to figure out something that no one else is doing and do that instead. And what I mean by this is, if you were a particularly good speedrunner, then you might stand out in the speedrunner community. And if you're a particularly beautiful person, then you might stand out in the Instagram community. And if you're particularly funny and witty, you might be able to create a really cool novelty account on Twitter and then just rise to the top of the most retweeted people of the month. That's what you've got to figure out. What you can do better than anybody else, or what nobody else is doing that you might be able to do. And here's the thing, I can't tell you what that is, because if I could figure out what nobody else is doing, I would do that so I could get rich. But to give you a general idea, look at the format that you're going to go on, Twitch or YouTube or Instagram or wherever, and look for a hole there. Look for something that you can do that no one is currently creating, or maybe only a few people are creating and that you can do better. Maybe it's doing something goofy like playing a character like Dr. Disrespect or I did. Maybe it's making rage videos here on YouTube, which is a small market. Maybe there's something out there that you can do. It very rarely ever pays to do something that somebody's already gotten famous for doing. You should probably always figure out your own market and figure out your own thing, and if you can do that, then success is just right around the corner. And that's not to say that you've got to figure that out day one either, by the way. If you have a particular genre or a particular thing that you want to do or a thing that you want to create, then you should create that, even if it's been done to death. It'll give you a chance to practice. It'll give you a chance to get better at your video editing skills or your photo taking or your gameplay or whatever it is, your personality while streaming. It'll help you find your voice, and that's going to be very important. Whatever comes to you that makes you rich and famous may not come in the first week or the first month or the first year or even the first 5 years. It's going to take time. You're going to have to develop who you are as a person. Maybe you'll get lucky, but very few people do. Most people have to work to earn it. Which leads me to one of the most frustrating things. I'll see people hot and ready at the beginning of January, but they've quit by the end of January or maybe by the end of February or by the end of July. This is not one of those jobs where you show up and you get a paycheck. This is a job where you build something slowly but surely. And you're going to spend the first month, the first year, the first 3 years not getting paid. And if you are getting paid next to nothing. It's something that you have to slowly build. That's what a lot of people don't see. And, it's so frustrating because they think, well, I'm going to be a rich and famous YouTuber. I'm going to be the next Logan Paul come tomorrow. No, you're not. Even Logan Paul took quite a while to get there. I always say 3 years. Do it for 3 years. Do it every day for 3 years. Practice, find your voice, continue to practice, and continue to do it. And if at the end of 3 years you still haven't turned it into a paycheck, then maybe this isn't for you and you need to change up what you're doing and how you're doing it. But it took me 3 years to get my first paycheck. It took a lot of other YouTubers 2 or 3 years to get their first paycheck. That's part of the process. But once you start getting those paychecks, it gets a lot easier. And those checks, for the most part, tend to get bigger and bigger. I think the other biggest problem a lot of people don't understand is they need to do something to build an audience today. Used to, back in the day, an audience would just kind of show up because there was only a handful of creators creating stuff. But that was 15 years ago. These days, the market is very saturated. So you have to think viral. When you tweet something, when you create something, when you create a video, when you live stream, when you take a picture, whatever it is you're going to do, it's got to be something that the people who are going to view it are going to want to share it. They're going to want to retweet it. They're going to want to post it on their Facebook or their social media. They're going to want to do something with it. And I think the best way to do that is to try to inspire emotion or a reaction, generally a positive one, something that makes people laugh, something that makes people feel good, something that makes them want to share the thing that you've created. And if whenever you come up with an idea, if you approach it as what will make people share this, how do I get people to share my thing, that's a good path to discovery. Because if only 10 people share it, then 100 people might see it, and then 100 people might share it, and then it's 1,000, and 1,000 becomes 10,000, and 10,000 becomes 1,000,000, and the next thing you know, you're one of the highest subscribed YouTubers. So that's the process. Everything you create needs to be something that people are going to feel something about, and hopefully share it because of what you made them feel. And that's not to say that we won't make filler content. You will make filler content. Take a good look at Casey Neistat, for example. He does his daily vlogs, and they are pretty much for the people who already watch Casey. But every once in a while, he does something particularly crazy, particularly weird, does something just bizarre and off the wall, something you've never seen before, something no one else is ever doing, and that makes people want to share it. And that's what makes Casey Casey. And that's what makes all top YouTubers. They think like that, they create like that, and people share it because it's good. So if I was creating content for the first time here at the beginning of 2018, here's exactly what I would think. I would plan to create content as often as I could, hopefully at least several days a week. I would make sure that I was doing something that I was very, very good at, or at the very least, no one else was doing, hopefully that I'm still very, very good at. I would try to make sure that every once in a while I created something that has the potential to viral out, something that people want to share, something that people want to see, and that makes them feel good. And I would be very, very patient. I would plan to not just do it for the month of January. I would plan to do it for the entire year, hopefully for the next couple of years. I would hope to practice my craft, hope to get better at everything that I was doing. And this is not just how I approach YouTube and Twitch. This is pretty much how I approach life. And I think this is a good life lesson for anybody. You just got to be consistent. You just got to practice. You just got to be the kind of person that people want to be around, the kind of person that people want to hire. And if you can do that, then you'll be successful in anything you try to do, much less YouTube. And finally, one thing I would not be too worried about is the equipment. Chances are you have everything you need to get started right here If you've got a phone from the last 3 or 4 years, chances are your camera and the editing software and everything you need is good enough built right into here. Don't let anybody sell you some sort of starter package for $400 or $500. Lighting is fairly simple with daylight bulbs from Walmart, which is what I still use to this day. Maybe you'll invest in a webcam, maybe you'll invest in a decent laptop, but chances are 98% of what you need to get started is right here. And once you turn it into a paycheck, then you can buy all of the equipment you need. But more importantly, patience, guys. Please be patient. So many people quit so quickly, and I know if you're going to make it, you're not going to be one of them. Guys, that's my advice. Thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. Big thanks to my sponsor for this video, and thanks for those of you who check it out. Let me know what else you want me to create. It's January, so it doesn't really matter what we create because nothing's paying anyway. So you guys tell me what you want to see on the channel. We'll make it.